Welcome to All Things Retreat Podcast. I'm Holly Porter, your host and CEO of Retreat R&R. With over 25 years of experience in designing transformative retreats, I'm here to share insights and inspiration to help you create extraordinary experiences. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, you'll find valuable ideas here. Enjoy the ride. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. Today, we have a guest, and her name's Cari Rickabaugh, and she has over 20 years of experience. She ignites profound personal evolution, blending her skills as massage therapist, master body worker, and trauma healing life coach. She helps clients achieve powerful life transformations. Her unique fusion of somatic techniques, energy work, and coaching, rooted in her own resilience, overcoming trauma and abuse, empowers emotional release, deep healing, and authentic self-discovery. Her extensive background, including work with clinics, chiropractors, and professional athletes, underscores her commitment to holistic well-being. A published author, public speaker, and podcast host, Cari inspires lasting transformative change, guiding others to step into the life they would inherently create if they knew they couldn't fail. Welcome to the show, Cari.
Thank you so much, Holly. So excited to be here.
Wouldn't life look so much different if we knew we couldn't fail?
Incredibly. Like, it's amazing the fact that it's so hard to conceptualize that, like, as a society.
So true. It's so true. I mean, if you take fear out of everything, because even the politics and the news and everything else, it's like that's what they instill in everybody, is that fear. Because if they keep us in fear, then we're stoppable. If we're out of fear, we're unstoppable, right?
Yeah. We as a society, like, this was huge when I learned this. We've been taught to fear. And there's nothing wrong with being fearful. There's nothing wrong with failure. There's nothing wrong with these things that are wrong.
Yeah.
Because they're just a new space for you to learn and grow and step into and say, hey, what's different about this?
Yeah, so true. Years ago, I was doing my certification for hypnosis, and fear of success and fear of failure, which are total opposites, kind of, they both came up for me. And it was like, yeah, that, like, I'm afraid to succeed, because what if I do? Then I'm more worried about failing than I am succeeding. And it's interesting how those beliefs just create so much chaos in our lives.
Yeah. And, I'll tell you from my experiences with so many people that I know who are in this industry or this lifestyle of self-awareness and, self-change and improvement, even those who are the most successful, even those that we put up on some of the highest pedestals, still have fear of success. They still have fear of change. They still have all of these things. They're human, just like the rest of us. They have the same feelings and emotions based upon their experiences. So they can alter slightly, but, as one who in the past 2 years has been able to step into this space of, oh my gosh, I'm allowed to be good at something. I'm allowed to be successful. I'm allowed to be known. You do sometimes have this fear of, well, who I know is this imperfect, small person, and we get scared of what would we be without that.
Yeah, it's just so true. I love personal development myself, though. I've worked on things for so many years, and I'm constantly learning. It's like I never want to stop learning. I never want to stop being a student. I want to always walk in a room and be the dumbest one in the room, because that's a smart thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. There's a coach named Steve Hardison that says a lot often. I mean, I know the man personally, and he will say a lot when we're talking. He's like, Cari, it's a mountain without a top. You don't ever get to that point where you're like, I know it all, or I'm healed, or I'm the best there is. There's always somewhere else to go. There's always something else to learn. And you just keep climbing throughout our lives.
And if you think you get to the top, that's your ego. And you're going to have a harder time getting down.
It's so true.
It's going to be a bumpy road, is all I got to say. Let's talk about people and tribes. At some point in their process to fully heal, a lot of people feel like they can click the join button on a Facebook group, for instance, or walk into a conference, and others will automatically focus on them and bring them into the center of that tribe. Being known and part of a tribe requires putting in effort and taking work of putting yourself out there and to be known. Sometimes that's a critical part of every healing process. Every part of healing requires effort and hard work. What do you think about that?
There's so much truth that I found in that from my own experiences, because I wanted to be parts of groups and tribes, and I didn't want to be an individual anymore because I felt I was that for so long. And you step into these spaces, whether it's virtually or physically, and you want people to accept you and just wrap their arms around you and be like, hey, be my buddy and I'll walk you around. Well, there's so many other people there looking for that too.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's everybody's looking for somebody else, and there isn't somebody else there that has that capacity to do that.
Yeah.
At other times, it's a growing space for us.
Yeah.
It truly is. There was a group of coaches on Facebook that I wanted to be a part of, and I expected somebody to pull me in and expected him to read my mind and be like, "Oh, hey, you should be a part of this." And he didn't. He didn't have any idea that I didn't join on my own. And so I finally, I mean, this was a couple of years ago, but I got on his case. I'm like, "Why haven't you pulled me into your world?" He's like, "I didn't know you weren't already there. I had no idea." So he tried to pull me in, and he goes, "Intuition's telling me something. If I make a post and say, 'Hey, welcome my friend Cari,' you need to reach out to everybody who says, 'Welcome to the group,' and communicate with them." And I'm like, I couldn't even push this button anonymously to join the group. How am I supposed to do this? And he goes, that's what you have to do. That's the agreement. It's the only way I'll pull you in. And
Wow.
I did. And it was terrifying. And that changed my life, because now I speak on stages. Now I can coach people. Now I can see that in other people and step outside of it for myself and say, hey, let me help you, and you have to do the work yourself,
Yeah.
because nobody's coming to save any of us, but people will be there to hold our hands.
I look at it as being each other's best cheerleader. I have some best cheerleaders in my life, and like no fail, they always come through for me. Just to make you feel better. They just make you a better person because of how they make you feel and who they are towards you. And I just think, gosh, how can I be that for someone else? I want to know I'm their best cheerleader. They're not just mine, but I think it's just that teamwork to make the dream work, right? We all have our dreams, and if we have a support system. So yeah, I think when you just hitting the button to join these groups just because you want to be a fly on the wall, it's not, you're self-serving at that point. And I think you need to become part of the team instead of on the team. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, stepping forward is the way to for people to even know you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think the mind shift needs to be for people to move from passive participation to truly belonging to something?
It's one, it's not as scary as it seems. It's that fear of fear again. It's really not that scary. Every single one of us who have come into a group, who have come into a community, who have come into a conference, who have come in, we've all been exactly where you are. Every single one of us have walked into rooms or virtual spaces not knowing anybody or anything really about the dynamic,
Yeah.
and we had to step in and learn for ourselves. So you're not coming into a room where people don't understand the fear or the trepidation you may have. So people already understand you before you even met them, right? That's the first thing. The
Yeah.
second thing is, I think there has to be at times that mind shift of giving everybody grace for doing the best that they can. Because if you walk into a conference in person and all these people don't come and surround you, it's not intentional.
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't have any idea what you need. People are in their own world, and they may seem great on the outside, but internally they're fighting some sort of battles, and they're just doing the best that they can, and they don't have it to give to you, but it's not because of you. And so I think a lot of it is just opening up grace and not expecting anything, just
Yeah.
going with whatever happens and being okay with whatever happens.
What comes to my mind when you say that is be interested, not interesting in a group.
Yes. Yes.
Because
It's very true.
all of us have been in that group where I mean, it's different if they're just funny and they have a great sense of humor and they have funny stories to tell or whatever, and they're building some rapport that way and they're monopolizing the conversation. There's a difference in that energy than somebody who's just like throwing up on you about everything and how great they are and what they do and blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
sign up here and you should do this. And you should, I mean, it's exhausting to be around people like that. Being known as a tribe requires effort, vulnerability, and willingness to put yourself out there. And that can feel uncomfortable or even scary. So the question is, why do you think so many people resist this part of the process, even when they say they want healing or connection?
It's unfamiliar. I know that this was the case for me. I would sit in my own misery knowing that I didn't want to be miserable anymore and knowing what the next step could be to be out of misery, but it was familiar to sit in that misery because I knew what to expect. I knew what it would feel like, you know? And it's, again, fearing the fear. If we can get uncomfortable, or sorry, if we can get comfortable being uncomfortable and
Yeah.
knowing that it's just a feeling, you step into something and you're uncomfortable. Okay, nothing good, nothing bad about that. Let's figure out what we can do next. Instead of saying, here's the other thing. For me, I had to see the end from the beginning before I would step into something. And
Mm,
I'm like, well, if I take this step, then I need this and this and this and this to happen. And if I don't see that, then I'm like, not even going to start.
yeah.
And it's, again, I needed to be comfortable with everything that happened. And if I was uncomfortable, I didn't know what to do with myself.
For
That's okay
me,
too.
yeah, for me, I'm a good one to reverse engineer. I mean, it's always Stephen R. Covey, just begin with the end in mind, and it's always like, okay, I know what I want this situation, or I want me to feel. I know what I want to be. I know what that looks like, and so now, how do I reverse it to figure out all the things I need to do to get that? And I would almost say that I would apply to your emotions and your feelings because they control so much of our lives. And if you get so emotional about certain things, it's like, what do you want to feel like? And I think if like, let's just use an example. It's the end of the year. We're having a holiday party. Let's just go there for a minute. So we're having a holiday party and a little shy, or you don't really know a lot of people that are going to be there, but you really want to, network with some, or there's someone really big that you want to meet. And it's like, stop and think and take some time, whether it's meditate, close your eyes and just visualize it, whatever is going to work for you, and think, what's the feeling I want to have at this party? Who do I want to be, and what do I want to feel like? And I think if you kind of get that and know that feeling, put yourself in that feeling, and then I think it'll be easier to get back into it when you show up, because that's who you want to show up as, right? And I think we get so scared and so emotional that, I mean, I'm guilty for it. It's like, I'm a talker. I can talk to anyone. But I've noticed since, I got sick during COVID and spent 70 days in the hospital, I've got a little fear about being so close to so many people because I almost died. And so I can tell that that's kind of like a thing for me when I get in big crowds. It's like, I don't want everybody hugging me and shake. I mean, I'm not fearful of it, but there's that, like, I don't want your germs.
Right.
Don't get me
Exactly.
sick because I don't want to be on an intubation again. No, let's not go there. So I'm just saying it's a feeling for me. It's like, sit in that. And also I would say people that are newer speakers, that process will work for them as well. Like, before you go on stage, even if you're in a bathroom stall. I found sometimes that's the most peaceful place I can be, is to, no one's going to bug you in there, right?
Right.
Go sit on the toilet. If it's noisy, put on some headphones, listen to some meditation music, and just sit there for 5 minutes to give yourself that peace and tell yourself, what is the feeling I want? What is the energy that I want to bring to the stage when I'm going to go get on it, or, whatever, that room, whatever it is for you. I'm just trying to think of some examples that maybe you could put yourself in that'll move you past that, getting stuck in that emotional trauma, I'm going to call it, because it is, especially for introverts. And I've always been an extrovert. I'm a lot more introverted than I ever used to be. So that's different for me. And so I think you just have to meet people where they're at. And I don't know. What do you think of that?
There were two things that came to mind when you said that. The first was 45 years of my life, I didn't know that I had a choice to feel or be however I wanted to be. And so I thought when I step into a room, I'm victim to whatever happens inside of me or outside of me. And so once I learned that if I don't want to be scared, I don't have to be scared. Like, it's simple, but it's not always easy. Like, they're simple concepts, but it's not always easy to do, but it's a practice. And the more you practice it, the more you can do it. And once you take a step, I always say, do it scared. That was started to be my motto for the year, and now that's my motto for my life is do it scared. Just
Yeah.
it doesn't
I
have
got
to be
another
scared,
one.
just do it.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
so true. Do it scared. And then the second thing I thought of is when you said sit down and like imagine how it's going to be. You look at Olympic athletes, you look at professional sports teams, you look at the Blue Angels. I saw this little short clip of a documentary on them, I think on TikTok or something the other day, where they literally before they go up and fly and do their shows, they sit in chairs and they have their eyes closed and they pretend that they have their hand on their gears or whatever. I'm not a pilot, I don't know. And they literally go through all of, and they're all, turning in their mind and physically doing it so that their body knows exactly what it's going to feel like. So
Yes.
taking those couple of minutes that you said to just say, this is, I'm going to bring in the feeling, I'm going to bring in the idea, I'm going to bring in whatever it is so that your nervous system's like, oh, okay, this is familiar. When you step into it, can take away so much of that fear.
Yeah. And I think just having that before you go is calming enough to help calm you down when you get there. I think it's just, and like I said, do it in the parking lot in your car before you are getting out to go to a meeting. It could be anything. Like you could use that process however it looks for you. I mean, I've known that process for years, but I haven't always used it. You get caught up in the emotion at the time. You're like, dang, I forgot I was going to do that, you know? So make it work for you is all. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, but what do you think the biggest reasons people get stuck and stop doing the work even when the next step is clear for them, like you know what to do? Why are we not doing it?
I firmly believe it's because as we were growing up, we were either handed or we took on beliefs about ourselves. Somebody could say you're clumsy, and for the rest of your life, that's part of your identity is you're clumsy or you're dumb or you're lazy or you're slow or whatever. Right. And I think so many times, and I have these that run through my head and I don't even realize they're running. They're dialogues that I have of you can't do this, Carrie, or who do you think you are? And it took me a long time to be able to catch them and actually hear them because they're in my voice and they just go through my mind all the time. And once I was able to like be aware of, oh wait, this is a belief I have that I don't have to hold on to anymore. Just because somebody thought I was clumsy doesn't mean that I am. That's their vision, that's their identity, that's their projection. Do I think I'm clumsy? And it's okay if I do. But we can be whatever we want to be and we
Yeah.
cannot be whatever we don't want to be. And that sounds, again, so simple. And it is,
Yeah.
but it's not always easy.
Yeah.
But there's so much truth behind the beliefs that we have been given, that were handed to us, that we chose to take. And we can now choose to just be like, I don't believe that about me anymore. That's a big part of the reason, if we go back just a little bit and talk about why we're a fear of success,
Yeah.
because we believe that we can't be successful because that's what other people projected onto us. There's a quote, and I don't know who it's by because there's been so many people that it said it's by, but it's, who am I to be brilliant and gorgeous and what, and then later on in it, it says, who are you not to be? Like you're,
Marianne Williamson, I think.
is that who it is? I love that quote. It's for you not to be brilliant and genius and beautiful. Like you playing small does not serve the world. And so why don't, if that's what you want, choose that.
Yeah.
It's simple.
To
Not
me, life
easy.
is so full of choices, and I feel like you can create anything you want. It's more how bad you want it, what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? And I think it's that what stops people is those limiting beliefs. And I don't know. It's just if you're listening to this and it's speaking your language or it's not speaking your language, but you want it to be, like dig in. I mean, go to AI and do some searching and find out what are some steps you can do to get rid of some of those belief systems. Because sometimes the first thing is just realizing you have them and just seeing, like I feel like there's so much reprogramming that I've done since, my near death experience because it changed everything for me. And it's like I don't feel like I know more. I just feel like I believe I am more now. And it changed just so much of my thinking and made me also have so much more patience and love towards other people. One of my messages, Carrie, I don't know if you knew this about me or not, but one of my messages I came back with my near death experience was love them where they're at. And I talk about it all the time when I'm a guest on podcasts because If you love people unconditionally, but love them where they're at, changes the energy around it a little bit. It takes the judgment away because you can't change that. And so you just love them anyway. And sometimes it can be the hardest thing to do. But if you can release that emotion around it, I mean, I would say let's flip that and make that first love yourself where you're at. And no, you might not like where you're at. Okay, so what are you going to do about it? How are you going to change that? And how are you going to shift that thinking around it? And my shift for me is surrender, hope, intuition, faith, and transformation.
Growing up, I didn't know unconditional love was a real thing. I was taught that we used the words unconditional love, but it was basically us making a very grandiose gesture that other people could see that we were trying to love somebody who was harder to love, but we still put those conditions on, right?
Yeah.
It was more about egocentric of, hey, look at what I'm doing. I'm loving them unconditionally until I'm not. And when I got into a couple of different tribes that I'm in right now, and people loved me unconditionally, and I tried to push them away, and they were like,
Nope.
I freaked out, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'd go to somebody else and try and push them away. And they're like, I'm not going to play that game. And it gave me this freedom to be me, that my shortcomings and that, all of the things that I saw as wrong or bad about myself were okay. I
Yeah.
didn't have to change them. I didn't have to put on this act or this persona. I mean, when I grew up, I was taught that we were the perfect family in front of other people. And then behind the walls of our own home, it was a very different story, very toxic, very abusive. And so I grew up always playing this image of who I wanted to be and thought everybody else in this world was putting on this image. And so I loved people until that image came crashing down. But when the image for me came crashing down and people still loved me anyway, it was life changing. And it allowed me to do that with others too, like you said, just stepping into doing that for them.
Oh, I love that. So my challenge, I guess we are done with the show for now, to be continued maybe at another time. But my challenge to people would be to figure out, if you're thinking of someone, you're like, oh, I don't love them, or I don't want to love them, or whatever. Love them where they're at. Remember that piece. And then also think about how you can serve a person that maybe you don't feel like you love so much, and see how that will help shift the mindset around that. And I think when you do that, or make it a point to do that for yourself, put yourself first. We're almost at the beginning of a brand new year, and it's a great time to make those shifts and think how we can do things differently. But I love that. So thanks for sharing all that. That was a good conversation. I hope some people listening got some good nuggets out of that. I feel your heart, and I see you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. And I just want to remind anyone who is listening, if you have any doubt, do it scared. Just do it.
Yes. And we will have all of Cari's information in the show notes. So if you want to get a hold of her, everything will be there, real easy to find. So get a hold of her, and we'll see you next week on the show. Bye for now. Thanks for joining us on this episode of All Things Retreat. We hope you're leaving with new ideas, fresh inspiration, and the motivation to take your retreats to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It helps us grow and reach more retreat leaders like you. And if you have any questions, topics you'd like us to cover, or just want to say hello, send us an email at info@weretreatrnr.com. Follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all the latest updates. Until next time, remember, great retreats start with great intentions. Let's make them extraordinary, one step at a time. Thinking about hosting a retreat? Before you dive in, let's make sure you're really ready. Grab your free Are You Retreat Ready checklist and find out if you've got everything in place, from your purpose and pricing to your audience and agenda. Don't guess. Get clear. This quick checklist will show you exactly where you stand and what you need to make your retreat a success. Click the link below in the show notes to grab your gift and take the first step toward hosting with confidence.